Hey folks, it's Teresa, Stringfield Ridge Farm. It's starting to look a lot like fall, our favorite time of year. We have been picking the garden today. We finally got a break from the heat and it has cooled off a whole lot. So I got off work early and come home picking garden, and just noticed that the apples were starting to fall off and ready. And so we're going to pick apples. We've picked a lot of the grapes, but there's still some hanging. They are delicious. So we're going to get the rest of those in a minute. We've picked a bunch of those already as they've come in, but and they're just about to get done, but there's a few left. So the apples. I picked the ones on the lower branches, and Lee got the ladder out to pick the ones up higher. This is the first year we've had a good harvest off of our apple trees. Last year we had a few, but they were kind of getting spotty at the end and didn't get real big. Yeah. So this is really the first year we've gotten a real good harvest off of these apple trees. Right. And they are how old?
I think this is the fourth year.
Fourth year. All right.
Because the first year we had a couple apples, second year we had a few, and then last year they didn't really do much.
These are Gala apples, and Lee's getting up there.
I still got a shirt on.
Yay! That's because he just got home from work a little bit ago.
But I ain't even took, normally I take it straight off, but.
Because it's cooler, right?
Yeah.
Cooler weather. He hasn't stripped down yet.
I ain't stripped down naked yet. No.
So he's getting on the ladder and getting those apples that are higher up that I couldn't reach.
And boy, I tell you what, there's a big one right here. I wish y'all look at the size of that one.
Stop. He's silly. But some of them are big. I've got a basket full already.
Big one.
There's a few more. There's a few more up there he's picking. Whoop, he dropped one.
There's the one on the ground.
But here's what we've picked so far. We have a basket full of Gala apples. And even though I'm on the keto diet and can't have them, I had to try one, and they are delicious. And kind of tart, kind of sweet and tart at the same time. And they were just delicious. I only ate about a quarter of one because I am on the keto. But I'm going to take the rest of them.
Yeah, there is.
Those two are big.
Few pretty good sizes. Yep.
I'm going to take the rest of them and peel them and cut them up and put them in the freezer because I can't have those right now. Even though I would like to eat that whole basket full.
You're going to make me a pie.
He says I'm going to make him a pie, but I don't see it happening. Apple pie for Lee.
Well, that one ain't
That'll
no
be
good.
Andy's new. Oh, bad one.
That one goes to
the horse to get that one. There's a few really pretty ones. Some of them have dark spots, but they're not like rotten dark spots. Rotten dark spots. They're just they're firm. It's just dark spots. That's just how they are. But they're fine. And shine up pretty. I just shined one up with my shirt and it looked pretty. And he's throwing them on the ground.
And it ain't shined up with.
But that one right yonder looks real pretty anyway.
Like that stove.
Get that one right there.
Yeah.
Get him down. I want to see him. Let's see what that sucker. Nope, the other side's got some dark. Ha ha. Funny. He's pretty. We threw away about 8.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So, and we had already picked a few, but they were, we picked a few too early, thinking they might be done and trying them, and they were still green.
Yeah.
And, but these are ready. They had started falling off some, and
a little bad
I can
spot,
cut that little spot
bad.
Out. That one's got a little spot, but I'll cut that out. The rest of them are beautiful.
The rest of them's fine.
Yeah.
The rest of them's like him.
Him?
Yep, him. Better than him.
How you know they're not hers? Well, are they hims or hers?
Well, they could be a her. I mean.
So I've been pulling out some tomato. There's some tomatoes I pulled out earlier out of my cottage herb garden over there. I pulled down the green bean teepees. I got all the beans off of them and pulled them out of there because, and the beans were, the vines, not just the beans, the vines were so big and heavy that they were starting to knock them over. So I got in there and pulled every bean I could and threw the little teepees out. And I've been giving a lot of that to the horse and the cow and the chickens. So anyway, there's the cottage herb garden. It is coming down to just fall stuff. I'm getting everything else cleared out and cleaned up and getting ready for fall. And beside that, over there is the pumpkins. Anyway, there's Miss Emma watching over the cottage herb garden. And we are kind of winding some stuff down, but getting ready for some other stuff. We have planted green beans in the big garden for bush beans. He said some of them were blooming. They're about a foot tall and starting to bloom. And I'm not sure what I'm going to plant in mine for fall. There's still a little bit of stuff in there, like some peppers and the zinnias, of course. You can see the zinnias. I left some of the big tomatoes. There's still some of the orange Amana tomatoes and chocolate stripe tomatoes are still in there, and I left them. But most of the cherry tomatoes, I pulled all the tomatoes off, even the green ones. I'm going to do some pickled green tomatoes. I have a video on that. I'm going to do some pickled green tomatoes and just pulled the rest out. And I have a video on the pickled green tomatoes, but they are sliced. I'm going to do some of those too because I'm out, but I'm going to try the pickled green tomatoes with the green cherry tomatoes. Here's our pawpaw tree. It's got more on it this year than we've had before, and they're way bigger than we've ever had before. This is a young, small tree, but there they are. They're huge. There's Lee's hand beside of it.
And I got big hands.
They're just about ready. We're waiting for them to start turning just a little bit yellow
and get a little
bit soft, and then we're gonna pick them off and put them inside, because if not, the deer will start getting them. But whoops, I'm getting too close. I was trying to get a good. Anyway, there they are. There's a bunch of them. I think we counted 12, but they are really big this year. We've not had them that big before. All right, that's our pawpaws, and that's pawpaw. Hey, pawpaw. Pawpaw at the pawpaw tree. That's what all we picked today. And I'm gonna make pickled green tomatoes with those. And then the apples and a bunch of green beans that I got off of those teepees. And then I just got them teepees out of there. I'm done. There's some tomatoes in the window. Some moringa. Beautiful harvest. Okay, I've done most of this without doing any video on it, but I wanted to show you real quick, tail end of the video, what I'm doing with all these apples. I got 5 quart bags of apples chopped up and put in the freezer. And since we're trying to save our freezer space for that cow, I'm doing the rest as slices in the dehydrator. And so I got 5 good quart bags of chopped up big chunks of apple that I will use for baking or whatever through the winter or something. And so then I sliced up, so far I've got 3 trays of sliced apples in the dehydrator and this many left. And so I'm not letting anything go to waste. I am taking the rest. I'm taking my peels and I'm going to make my apple cider vinegar. All that takes, I think I've done a video on that before. All it takes is your apple peels and cores, and all you got to do is fill that up with water and add sugar and let that sit. I think it's like 30 days, and I think probably the longer the better. I need to look that up again myself, but it'll be probably about a cup of sugar in here, and then you just cover that up with a cheesecloth and let that sit. I'll let that sit back in the back room where it's kind of a cool dark spot. So there's what I'm doing with all those apples we picked. Y'all give us a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe.